I'm 60 pounds too heavy to be good at CrossFit or functional fitness. No, I was supposed to leave that bit out, wasn't I? Here we go again. Bang. I'm trying to listen for when you're going, I'm smiling. Right, hello YouTube, welcome back. Gigi's back behind the lens, thank God for that. The headline today is that I am 30 kilos too heavy to be any good at CrossFit or functional fitness or anything in that space. And obviously I want to be good at everything I do, so that's quite a problem, something we need to consider. It's probably been my biggest lesson after 3 weeks of kind of transitioning to CrossFit from bodybuilding. What do you want to talk about?
Just tell them what you're about to go and do.
All right, sweet. So the reason I need to lose muscle mass is because at the moment I'm nowhere near as mobile as I need to be, as you will see probably in this session, where I'll probably get quite annoyed about some of the things that we're doing. I also need to be fitter, I need to be lighter because it's very exhausting picking up 115 kilos from the floor multiple times. Yeah, that's it. There's a lot of movements I need to be lighter to be better at, or at least it would be a lot easier if I was lighter. You want me to talk? It's actually going to be better than I thought, better than I remembered. We've got handstand push-ups today. Got the camera guy here today, hope that's all right.
It ain't really done till it's over. I'm in it running, so call me to come back, yeah. Me don't play dumb, I know that. Me don't run with fire, but yeah, I'm that lit. I'm that lit. I got that heart in the grid, I've been grinding, I will not relax.
This should be a good thumbnail. This just looks good, the light.
A little bit different than y'all. We don't surrender to God. Ain't no defeat, ain't no defeat in my blood. We don't surrender to God. Ain't no defeat, ain't no defeat in my blood. Ain't no defeat, ain't no defeat, ain't no defeat. There ain't no defeat, ain't no defeat, there ain't no defeat, ain't no defeat.
All right, nice one. See ya. Is this thing on? I'm just looking at everyone, look at me with this fucking, you should see the size of this rig that Gigi's got following me around with. So there we go, we did, that was like the more bodybuilder session, I think, of the week. Marchon's a bit of a hybrid without going into too much detail. Well, that one's a fairly comfortable one for me to do. But what we did after is obviously not very comfortable for me. So like box jumps, anything actually at the moment that's putting impact through the ground when you weigh 115 kilos is pretty hard. As you will know, I ran 15K last week, and that's given me a bit of an injury up the shin. So every time I'm putting impact through it, like on those box jumps, I can feel it getting worse. So another reason why I need to get lighter. It's not easy picking up 115 kilos off the ground, jumping onto a box, and then landing with 115 kilos. So there we go. Another reason I need to lose some weight. Hello. The last thing I said I was going to speak about was mobility when we were walking back. So we've spoken about just like general fitness. I've told you how hard it is for me to pick up the amount I weigh off the floor. Like the first week I did this Marchon stuff, one of the movements we had was like butterfly sit-ups. If you don't know what that is, you've got an ab mat under your back, your feet are together on the floor, and you're like throwing yourself back and doing a sit-up. It's a bit like a progression towards like a GHD, which is the glute hamstring machine sit-up. And I literally did 5, and I couldn't pick up my upper body anymore because I'm so heavy. So that's pretty embarrassing. That's quite humbling. But that's the kind of the second big thing. It's just moving that amount of weight around is so much work. The third point, which is mobility, is probably the thing I think that's going to take the most work. Like I will get fitter, that's fine. I will get used to picking up this amount of weight, and hopefully I will get lighter as time goes on. But what I really need to put actual work into is mobility. So that session where we started with the push press, quite a lot of movements in CrossFit / functional, they rely on you being able to be mobile in this front rack position, which is literally being there. Now, obviously, we didn't front squat today, so you haven't seen it, but you would have done if you've been on my Instagram. I cannot get into that position. Like, I physically can't get there because my arms are too big. What a ridiculous thing to say, but it's genuinely true. But one of the main factors is I'm gonna have to have my elbows up here, and the bar needs to then sit on my hand. Like, it's just not happening. So it sits on my fingers, which pulls on my wrists. Everything just feels very uncomfortable. So how can I improve that? Obviously, number one, get smaller arms. That's gonna take a while. I don't think my muscles are gonna waste away as quick as maybe everyone thinks they are. And then the other thing is gonna be lat mobility, in particular. And I think that's the main things I'm gonna be working on. How I'm going to get more mobile in that position is just spending more time there. So spending more time in that front rack position, like forcing myself into it over time without causing too much damage. And then, yeah, opening lats up, so like lat stretches, which I did a lot of yesterday, which is why I'm a bit sore in the upper body. But yeah, that is going to be the main thing. Can you see any of this shit? Shall I move it?
Yeah, if you want to.
We good? The final scene, the final countdown. The last thing I wanted to talk about on this video was something that I get, I feel like it's the most commonly asked question on Instagram at the moment, which is about not losing muscle and am I like bothered or worried about it. So I'm gonna open up to you a little bit here about my experience with being the big guy. 10% of the time it's great, and that 10% is like when you're in the gym. Feels brilliant when you walk into the gym, like the ego loves that you're the biggest or one of the biggest in there. Absolutely fantastic, but the 90% of the time where you're living a normal life, it's pretty crap. You go into social situations and it's all everyone wants to talk about if they don't know you already, which for me just makes me really uncomfortable. I get pretty embarrassed to go into a bit of a like introverted shell quite quickly, get quite sweaty and red and uncomfortable in general. So I've always kind of said, like, when bodybuilding is done and when I no longer have a use for this muscle, like, which obviously I don't now in this new form of training, or at least not this much muscle, I'm quite looking forward to losing some tissue. And actually, I think, ironically, even though I've been looking forward to it, I think it's going to happen a lot slower than I thought. Obviously, the next video is going to cover my latest blood results, which show that my testosterone is 0.7, which is not great, or at least it doesn't feel great. But I think because of the amount of training I'm doing and the frequency of it, the body's still going to be adapted and trying to hold into the tissue that it's got. I also think that you have to do a lot less work to maintain muscle than you have to earn it. So even by doing this style of training multiple times a week, I'm going to still be stimulating that tissue and holding onto it. But the question being, am I worried about losing muscle? Like, absolutely not. I think I've always had a big level of like body dysmorphia, because I don't think I realise how big I am. I'm trying not to sound like a cock here, but it's legit. I don't think I realise how big I've been for the last few years. And so when almost people come up to me, and even in the street, I remember a particular experience. I was in Zara, and some random guys coming up to me asking me how much I eat to stay this big, and I'm like, just fuck off, I'm trying to shop. So I'm looking forward to a situation like that, like not being as awkward for me, but I think they still will, because ultimately that muscle's not just going to go away. I don't think it's going to be very easy to lose 15 kilos of muscle, let alone 30 kilos, which is the number that I quoted at the start of the video. But yeah, it's a weird question. I guess a lot of people are coming from an angle of they work so hard to be bigger, and that's all they ever want to be. And then I guess when you get there, it's not all that great. So yeah, I'm not worried about losing muscle. I'm excited to lose it so that I can look a bit more normal and so that I can perform to a much higher level in this kind of new discipline. Because as it stands, I don't have a reason to have all this tissue. So there we go. Hopefully you can't see my face fucking glistening in the sweat. I think that's it. I'm wrapped up. End of the vlog. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed that little heart to heart. As I said, in the next video, we're going to cover my low test and how that's making me feel, mostly physically. But yeah, if you enjoyed that one, like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace. Sweaty. Get that fucking camera out my fucking face. Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
I'm literally sweating now. Please stop.